Okay, then that should be our tip today. Let's try to keep our head up. So when I am editing you, there's a face there, which I do love.
Really fucking challenging.
Because this is hard.
I will try. I'll try to keep my head up.
Okay, because that's the thing too, is like when it does cut to you, it's nice to see you and not just your hat.
No one wants to see me. They just want to see
Oh
the
my,
hat.
didn't your husband say something about that?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Lippity clap, and we're back. Welcome back to the show. I'm Jon.
I'm Brittney.
And this is
Random Rewind.
Welcome back to another wonderful episode. We're reaching our 1 year mark. Actually, we've passed our 1 year mark, but we haven't passed our 52 videos that we were expecting because we had to scrap a few here and there, and we took a few breaks and whatnot. So
yeah, but that's okay. But we have been filming for over a year.
Over a year now, yes.
So that's exciting.
That is exciting.
That's a fun milestone to hit.
I think so.
I think it's a big milestone. I think it's cool.
And then this is kind of where we ask you guys ahead of time, because we usually do this at the end of the show, and we really need your guys' help right now. We're trying to really, really, really grow this show and this channel, and we need your guys' help in order to do that. Can you please, and this is a shameless cop-out kind of a plead to you guys. Can you please share this with any friends and family? We really, really do appreciate it when you do that. And if you do all the little things, the likes and the subscribes and whatnot, I'll do this again at the end of the video, obviously, 'cause that's my shtick. But if you can do that stuff ahead of time, we really appreciate it. And the channel really, really needs your help in order to do it. So anyway,
yeah, it's free.
It is free. It's free to do. It's free to share. It costs you guys nothing but a click. And you can always unsubscribe at any time. Not that you're going to, but
sharing is caring.
Exactly. Anyhow, that being said, today's show, like you couldn't tell from the title, is
Sherlock Holmes.
The 2009 Guy Ritchie, specifically the Guy Ritchie edition version of this. You know how many adaptations of Sherlock Holmes there are?
Yeah, there's a lot.
250.
A lot of mysteries with Sherlock Holmes.
That's
and
insane.
Watson.
The one series, we did watch the Sherlock series years ago, and I thought that was really good.
Yeah.
But we watched a movie, Enola Holmes, I'm sorry.
Oh, I heard about that.
His
Is that
sister.
Like his sister?
It's supposed to be his sister.
I saw the beginning or like the first episode.
That is super fun to watch.
Is it good?
Yeah. So if you guys, other than this movie itself, if you guys get a chance to watch either one of, there's two of them now. The first one was a lot more fun than the second one, but the second one is still a very good film. It's a lot of fun. It's fun to watch with your kids. It's a very
It's kid friendly.
It's very kid friendly.
Okay, good to know. Yeah, so you guys know it's kid friendly.
Because she's not a teenager. She's maybe in her 20s.
Like a young adult.
Like a young adult. And then she's solving these crimes.
So it's like Harriet the Spy vibe?
And she is such a good actress.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because she played, on Stranger Things. She was the main character for Stranger Things. 11, yeah.
Are you talking about Millie Bobby Brown?
I'm calling Millie Bobby Brown. Okay. Yes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right. She is okay, I remember when that came out.
Yeah.
Maybe I didn't watch the first episode. Maybe I saw the preview. But I saw the whole premises of what it was.
So much fun to watch.
And people really go, like you said, 200 adaptations
of Sherlock Holmes. Not necessarily of just film, like between film and plays and books and everything else.
Everybody's taking their own interpretation
absolutely insane. Not based off of the original writings.
I never read the original book.
I never read the original book either. But
this was, I think, the first even movie I saw that was Sherlock Holmes like.
I did download the original book series on audio through it was I stopped listening to it a little while in. It's 47 hours long.
Whoa.
It's freaking
like
nuts.
A whole week.
Yeah, exactly.
Sherlock mysteries.
Yeah, exactly. It's freaking nuts. But I stopped listening to it after a while. I just felt very repetitive. Good stories, but not the same as these adaptations.
Well, we had to buy this adaptation.
I know, I did too.
I thought it was on Hulu.
I had to too, and I was kind of annoyed that I
$7.99.
Did you buy it or
yeah,
you rented
we bought it?
You
no,
bought it?
We bought it.
Oh, we rented it.
Because
I asked $70, I think it was.
I asked Troy because he's seen it.
Yeah.
And I've never seen it before.
Yeah.
So I was like, is this movie worth buying? And he said, yeah. He said he liked it. So we bought it, and I fell asleep, and I finished watching it this morning.
So did I.
So it's all.
I fell asleep because I was just tired. Yeah.
I got tired.
And
it was a movie. It was mystery-like.
It was more action than mystery. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
It felt like more action. I mean, there is a mystery, and it's very, very much so. Unwinds in this like kind of grand manner of like all these hidden weird things like only Sherlock Holmes can can kind of tell.
I thought it was honestly when I first started watching it. And again, this is kind of like, I know the story of Sherlock Holmes, but this was my first adaptation seeing it, and definitely my first time seeing this movie. Yeah. And at first, I'm like, wow, he's Robert Downey Jr. plays Sherlock Holmes. Yeah. And I was like, dang, he's just like he's got I thought he was like autistic, but had like superpowers in that sense.
So he's been accused of being a few things.
But I thought they were going to like lean into that more. I have a lot of opinions on it because I feel like they couldn't sit with one specific
because he's bipolar.
Genius.
Because he's bipolar.
But it's weird because it's like in the beginning, right first scene, they cut to him how he's going to take this guy down, right? Where he's like muffle his ears, take out his vocal cords,
superhero powers,
hit the ribs,
right?
Blah blah blah. What's that one dude, Daredevil, where he's blind, so he has to like
exactly.
So I get kind of like that vibe, and you're like, whoa, like that's cool. But then I feel like later in the movie he'd be fighting people, and then like he wouldn't be doing that again.
Like for instance, the Donkey Kong Jr. scene with the barrels at the shipyard.
Oh yeah,
with the big guy. Why wasn't he? Why wasn't he 10 seconds heading it? You know what I mean?
Yeah. So
why wasn't that happening then? There's a few moments where that happened, including the time when he got freaking kind of knocked out by what's her name? What's the actress's name from
Adams?
Yes.
I was so happy she was here. I didn't know she was here, and I got excited.
She's such a good actress. I mean, she technically got her start from what do you call it?
Mean Girls?
From Mean Girls. She's been acting about 3 years prior to that, but that was her like main break.
Well, because she had that, and I think The Notebook at the same time.
That was
the Notebook might have been first.
That was no. It was what do you call it first, and then The Notebook afterwards.
Okay,
while they were
she
filming
was in
that.
Something else. I can't remember. Yeah. I've always loved her. I was really happy to see her.
She's a great actress. She really is.
In this, I was excited. Again, they like she's like what's his name, Sherlock's ex-girlfriend or whatever.
Kind of, yeah.
But they also don't when they throw her into the story, it's like you see her once when they're in the fight scene.
Yes.
Which that kind of confused me because
why?
So he's randomly doing like cage fighting.
Yes.
And he's in the cage fight and he's really like he's got this really good confidence. He's like clapping like, yeah, come get me, dude, come get me.
Yeah.
And then he looks out, and I think it's even before he saw her, and there's kind of like this wave in like the screen or whatever, and then he kind of like snaps out of it.
Do you know why?
No, that's what I'm confused about.
He saw the handkerchief. That's her handkerchief, but they didn't explain that.
Okay, so
that's her handkerchief. That's her initial.
The one that he ends up throwing at
Correct.
the dude.
The one he sees the handkerchief hanging over the wall.
Yeah, and then
that's
he does
her,
his
so
little
he knows
thing.
She's there. The problem with that is this isn't a sequel to something that we were aware of.
That's what I mean. I'm like,
so
I see her and I get it, kind of, but
so it explains it after he sees her, kind of by seeing her. It explains that that's her handkerchief, but it's not evident. Does that make sense? So
she put it there to help him with the fight, or like,
no, to let him know that she's there.
Honestly, I almost got the sense of like he snaps. I was kind of almost thinking at first, now that's interesting knowing it was her handkerchief.
Yeah.
But my first initial watching it, I was like, oh, maybe he snaps in and out of these
Oh, I could see.
You know what I mean?
I could see that you could take it that way.
He snaps in and out of moods, almost because, like you said, if he's bipolar.
Yeah.
And he does, like, at first he's like clapping this dude, and he's like this real character. This
I know.
Like,
and just slapping the crap out of this
guy. Open face slapping him.
But just straight hand slapping this guy. I mean, there's slap fighting now. You see that stupid crap.
Yes, we watch it all the time.
So dumb, but it's funny.
1, go 3, 2, 3, bah.
Yeah. No, there's like boxing, but slap fighting.
Oh, I've seen this when people...
I've seen the slapping. Yeah. That's kind of dumb, too, because you blow out eardrums and shit.
Gosh.
It's really terrible. But anyway, he's sitting there slapping the crap out of this dude.
And is he supposed to be British?
He's got these. So Robert Downey Jr. does a lot of things really, really, really well.
Being British isn't one of them.
Having a British accent is not one of them. He has the worst British accent.
Okay, because I was confused because Jude Law plays Watson.
Because Jude Law is a Brit, so
it's like, yeah, he's British, and that works, right? And then Robert Downey Jr. I feel like it was kind of in and out. I was real confused by his character, but I also felt like I was supposed to be confused by his character. Again, I was trying to pinpoint the genius of it, of like, okay, he's all observational, or he's this, which a lot of his power is observation, because he notices those little details.
It's deduction, right? So he takes things and he deducts the fact that, okay, none of this is actually happening. I'm going to deduce that this is why it's happening because of this observation.
Yeah, he's real confident.
I mean, that's what Sherlock's is, right? So every version of Sherlock Holmes that's ever existed has been that. Now, because this is a Guy Ritchie film, you get a lot of action in this.
There was super action.
So Sherlock Holmes and Watson are not these superheroes of combative individuals, except in this adaptation.
Where do you think they trained, though? Because they were taking on like 18 henchmen, like nothing.
Oh, they trained with like the freaking, I don't know.
Well, not in real life. I'm just saying, like, as Watson
the
and
Chinese
Sherlook,
mafia. I don't know.
They just took on these dudes. Like,
I know they're like superhero badasses.
Okay, and then right
in
in the beginning, first of all, Watson is incredible, and I want one. Honestly, that's my favorite love story about this whole movie is the Watson Sherlock.
Most adaptations of Sherlock Holmes, when it comes to Watson, it's usually almost always Watson first meeting up with Sherlock, and this almost like this bromance of
it's
Watson. It's
bromance for sure.
But in this case, this is almost their like they've been friends for a long time.
Yeah.
And this is the end of their life cycle.
It's the end of it, and
because
they kept
Watson getting married and whatnot to Beth Dutton. Sorry.
I know, poor Mary, because that's what I said. I said I want a Watson, but I want Sherlock's Watson. I don't want Mary's Watson, because Watson kept blowing Mary off. Like, he was supposed to go meet her parents and this and that to do Sherlock Holmes stuff.
Well, I think he could have.
And I was like, that's where his heart lies.
Well, that's true, but I felt like he could have done both without stepping on toes. Like, there was opportunity for him to not blow her off.
But he didn't choose to.
Correct.
He chose to stay with Sherlock. It's the cutest romance ever, and I hope they end up together forever. Because it was incredible. Like, that right there, they always say it's like, if they want to show up, they will. Okay? And Watson wanted to be with Sherlock, and gosh, I wish I had someone who could just, like, I could be crazy and do all this stuff, and then out of nowhere, my Watson's, like, right behind me, got my back, like, here's your gun, you forgot on purpose.
Yeah, he's like not just your sidekick.
And
but
he's a doctor?
Yeah, he's not just like a sidekick. He's like almost an equal in the sense that he's coherent.
I think he's an equal. I don't think there's a Sherlock without Watson. I think you need them together.
Not in any of the Sherlock stories, really. I mean, I think in like the Sherlock series, I think Watson bails for a minute, but you can tell that it is very detrimental to Sherlock.
Yeah, like they need each other.
Yeah, in that series, Sherlock ends up being an ex-addict and then ends up going back into drugs. So it's like really...
That's why Watson left.
Well, I think that Watson comes back and kind of helps out. But that's where they always put Sherlock, is always in this detrimental... Like he's always got this messed up mind space, head space. Without Watson, you're right.
He Sherlock would spiral.
He would. And we have to have a Watson.
We need Watson. I mean, so he was my favorite.
In some of the adaptations, Watson is even like an absolute wuss, like to the point of where he's very cowardice.
I could see that, but
and they make Sherlock being the superhero.
Wasn't.
Oh no,
I feel
not
like
by
in
any
this one
means.
he was equal. I feel like the Sherlock and the Watson were equal playing fields in this version. My favorite relationship is Watson and Sherlock. I felt way more love between them than I did either of the women that were in this film. I understand how Rachel McAdams is like his muse, because she seems to be the only equal counterpart that can outwit Sherlock.
Yes.
But Watson's just as good as Sherlock, but he also has his back like constantly. Like, always. I don't know what it is about that, but it's like, it's refreshing to know that when he's out doing, or when he's jumping out windows, that boat, and when you give Watson instructions and say, follow these instructions, he does it.
Uh-huh. Yeah,
it's like, whoa.
He's literally the guy that will show up to help you bury that body.
He's the one. That's what I'm saying. Like, that is a friend. So I understand why Sherlock wouldn't want Mary in the picture, because I wouldn't want to share my Watson either.
Right.
He's great. And but also I feel for Watson, because he needs to have a wife and a life.
He needs to have a life as well. Too. Yeah. And he can. I think he can balance both. And Sherlock, and he can still help Sherlock in his craziness and his like mystery solving. Yeah. And the next movie is even more action.
Yeah, they really leave this one on a cliffhanger. If you guys, I mean, obviously you guys have seen this, right? Have you seen it? Because we're not explaining it very well, so I'm hoping you've seen it.
We haven't explained the film at all. Actually,
because we're right in the beginning. So
this film actually has a lot to do with almost like what's going on today, what happened back in like 1945. It just happens to do with this magic cult.
Way more black magic than I was expecting.
And there's really no magic. Well, we turned out to find out there's zero.
Okay, yeah, because right in the beginning, the bad guy.
But you can tell that.
What's his name? Mark Strong is the actor who plays Lord Henry Blackwood, and he dies right away, right in the beginning. He dead.
Dies, but he died. I mean, there was so much, what do you call it though? Foreshadowing on the fact that he wasn't gonna die.
We knew he wasn't gonna die.
Exactly.
I knew when Watson took his pulse, I'm like, why does this feel weird? Yeah. And then it does. They were like, well, he resurrected. Literally the next day, they were like, he's resurrected, and they're like, huh? And
I honestly, the last time I watched this was 2009, so I don't remember how he pulled off the undead portion of it. So it was kind of like, oh yeah, that's right.
It like
I totally forgot about how
you get reminded.
So
how
I'm
to
like,
do
oh
it.
yeah, that's stupid, but very cool.
Yeah, it was, and I kept watching even like throughout this whole movie. I was keeping my eyes open because I'm like, oh, it's a mystery. Like there's gonna be little things here and there. So I was trying to find all of those little things,
little bits and pieces. Yeah,
there wasn't much to find secretly.
No, because
you know what I mean?
They do that crazy. Like when Sherlock Holmes gets those crazy flashbacks towards the end, and it kind of compiles everything and goes, "Oh, that's how he did it."
Yeah,
I mean that felt a little rushed in my opinion.
The very end, yes, yeah,
you know what I mean?
Because I think throughout the whole thing, we're sitting here, hoping that we can we want to figure it out because it's a mystery. Yeah, it's okay.
You sure?
Yeah.
All right.
That it's a mystery. We want to solve the mystery. It's Sherlock Holmes. I want to be a detective too, and I want to figure it out. But they don't really give you the opportunity to figure it out. They do because they really go in with this like black magic stuff, and they keep hinting at the fact. Blackwood keeps hinting at Sherlock Holmes like, "Oh, you're not gonna get it because it's way beyond your knowledge and blah blah blah."
But you can see the chinks in the armor as it goes along, right? You can start seeing all the.
But you also realize that it's not. You know that he's not all powerful or whatever. That I guess they kind of really hint at like, how else did he break out of his tomb, or how did he possess the inmates, or you're kind of like, maybe I guess you start thinking like there could be black magic or whatever.
I suppose so. The very first scene you see him in, right? He's got that poor girl who's like convulsing, about to stab herself.
Oh, that's true though. But how they never explain that.
Not once.
They never explain that. And
out
that
of
drives
all
me nuts.
the things that they explain on how it happened and all the BS behind the non-magic stuff that happened, I'm going to go with, and this is the only thing I could possibly think of, is this is some poor girl that they have convinced that she is to sacrifice herself.
It has to be the power of suggestion, because she has to be doing it on her own, because the black magic is not real.
Because she was about to sacrifice herself.
She was about to do it, and that's the fifth one. Right. And they saved her.
Right.
But that's 5. And there's no black magic, so it's just power of suggestion at this point.
All of it, yeah.
Because
exactly. Everything was mechanical or suggestion.
But that's because I remember being...
Or paid off, right?
Exactly. So throughout the movie, I'm like... they mentioned something about black magic. I'm like, yeah, did you guys not see that girl about to stab herself in the beginning? But then they never touch on it again, or that never gets answered.
Tell me that scene doesn't match the exact same scene from The Mummy.
It is The Mummy. It's The Mummy for sure. The Mummy Returns, right? It was when they're doing
they pull the heart out of the bodies, right?
Like those two go hand in hand.
Yeah, exactly. It was pretty funny.
It was like the same movie.
And
they did that in Indiana Jones.
They did that in Indiana Jones too. Yes, they did.
Look
You're right.
This trope. It's all over
I know.
the place.
It's all over the place. Just rinse and repeat.
They never talk about why she was willing, or why the other 4 women sacrificed themselves. At least how we see it.
It has to be.
He might have killed the other ones. We don't know.
We don't know. But it has to be power of suggestion. It really does.
It has to be.
Between drugs and power of suggestion, right?
He gets in her head so much that she knows like this is it. Like it has to be that, because that's the explanation. That's the Sherlock explanation, right? Because everybody else he paid off. Or he had all his inside hands, but you think it's black magic, and then like Sherlock will come up with these things out of nowhere too. Like even when he first starts talking to, I guess we get introduced to like Parliament and that old guy, and he's like, hey, find Blackwood, and then he's like, oh, he's your son, and you're like, what? Like, how'd you just figure that out? And then he
shows you the deduction between the, the shoes and the dirt and the blah, 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 blah.
And then, he ties up all the loose ends. There was a lot of, I feel like a lot of loose ends. Like, again, when we talk about Rachel McAdams' character, where did they meet? How did they, did they do crime together?
I think they show a little more of her backstory in the next one, but not really. They don't go
into what their relationship was.
This is not a sequel to something, so we don't have a prequel to these two.
Yeah,
movies.
We have just the ex showing up, saying, "Find this guy, the midget." I know I shouldn't say that, but they keep saying it. They keep
referring to it as a midget, referring to him as a midget in the film, right? Yeah.
Excuse me. So she says, "Find this guy," and he's like, "I'm not going to," but he does, and she knows he does, and they do. They find him. But they don't, I don't know, they ask he's in his house, but we know it's his ex, but they don't really touch on, were they in love?
No,
did they, solve crimes together?
I mean, there's got to be some kind of attraction, right?
Was it a one-night stand?
Because he seems to really care about her to a degree, and she cares about him.
Because she gets caught in the pig slaughter place because she followed him there.
Remember, what's his name? What's the bad guy's name again?
Blackwood.
No. Oh. The mysterious floating freaking top hat.
No,
the floating top hat. What's his name? He's in all the Sherlock Holmes films because he's got an obsession. He's got a hard on for. No. He's got a hard on for Sherlock Holmes.
Is it Dredger?
No.
That's that big dude who
Oh, what is his name? Hold on a second. I got it. Now it's stuck in my head.
Now I'm confused.
Yeah, no.
Also, that one guy's last name was Coward though, and they kept calling him Coward, and I was like, I don't like that.
Moriarty. The guy in the background, the one that employs what's her name? Not Mary.
The professor we don't know about. Correct. Because we've only seen the first one.
Professor Moriarty. Yeah, right. He's in every series. He's the one that's always he's always the Lex Luthor to Sherlock Holmes.
Oh, I had no idea. What's his name?
Moriarty.
Moriarty?
Dr. Moriarty.
That's fun.
Hey, doctor? He's the floating top hat in the cart.
Okay.
Right?
So
because with the mechanical gun thing.
We never see him. Yeah. And that's the thing too, is it was getting near the end of the movie and I'm like, we haven't solved the B story conflict yet.
Right.
And they don't solve the B story conflict. You're left on just who is this mysterious guy?
Yeah.
Why did he hire her?
They touch on him in the next one.
The whole next one has to be about him because they they just leave it alone.
They kind of leave it alone then too.
What the hell?
Sorry to ruin it for you.
Because they knew what they were doing. They're we're going to make another one.
Because this is the Sherlock Holmes story. Sherlock Holmes has his Lex Luthor, and that is Moriarty.
Moriarty.
Yeah.
What's up? Moriarty.
Oh, dual rules. That's all I heard.
Moriarty rules. Can't see my face.
Exactly. It's freaking weird.
Okay, so back to the A story of Blackwood.
Yeah. So Blackwood is killing these people in order to bring back.
He tells them he tells Sherlock right in the beginning. He's like, oh, that was weird too, because as his last wish before they hang him, they said Sherlock Holmes is his last wish, which again, why
would they honor that?
He literally murdered.
I get
so
honoring
many
a last meal. We do that now, right? For death row sentences.
What time was this? 1800s? When was this? When time frame wise?
It had to be because there's electricity and stuff, right?
There was, but and lots of bridges and boats.
Yeah, I mean when was the London Bridge built? The new London Bridge, not the one that they brought here.
Not the one in Havasu.
Not the one that they brought to Havasu. Yeah.
London Bridge is falling down, bitch falling down, bitch falling down, bitch. London Bridge is falling down. Gonna steal your lady.
Oh, you're such a dork.
That was 1967, so that was way ahead of its time as far as that takes place. Because that does not take place in 1967 in any which way, shape, or form. You know what I mean?
No, that was not.
Yeah,
it was old school, Tesla times. Didn't it feel Tesla-y, or when they would have been building stuff like that, when they were just starting to get into electricity? I don't know how England was, but
1870s. Yeah, we said
1800s.
Okay, 1800s. So late 1800s. That makes more sense. London Bridge wasn't built then
because there wasn't. They were just building the first one, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's not what we have here. The one we have here is just a stretch of bridge. That's the first one.
We have the original.
Yeah.
We had the OG.
It was picked up and moved to Havasu, out of all places in the world. Why? I don't know.
The first time
someone had a lot of money for
my
some
mom's
real
like, we're going
reason.
to London Bridge. I was like, what? She's like, yeah, it's right here in Havasu. Like, what?
Yeah,
okay.
It's so strange.
The
amount of weird stuff that we have around here is really bizarre. You can get a piece of the Berlin Wall is out here. It's like such strange stuff. Yeah, there's such strange stuff that people collect, but whatever. Anyhow.
So it's the 1870s.
Late 1800s.
1800s.
So it makes
that
sense.
means Dr. Watson's probably not a good doctor.
I have never seen London depicted so dark. Either.
It was very Gotham-y, right? It gave like Gotham City vibes.
Yeah, and it felt like, speaking of Gotham, it felt very, very steampunkish across the board, right?
I thought they were going for that.
I think that's the aesthetic that he was going for.
Steampunk.
Yeah, I think that's the aesthetic he was going for, because you see a lot of that between the big like gas bomb machine thing that they were building. Then that was super steampunk. It even had the little steam balls.
Twisty things.
At the top,
lots
which
of
didn't make
steel.
any sense.
It was steel.
Have you ever heard the term balls to the wall?
Yeah.
You know where that comes from? From steam machines. So you know those little balls that they turn on and they start to spread out as faster it goes? Those are counterweights. As the more power you put out, the balls spread out further, so it has momentum to turn. That's putting balls to the wall. That's balls to the wall.
I had no idea.
That's where the term comes from.
Good to know.
Yeah, stupid freaking fact.
So when you say you're going balls to the wall, you better spin around really fast.
That's gonna be a new shirt. Balls to the wall.
Balls to the wall. And be like, huh? Like, no, it's an industrial thing, don't you know?
Don't you know? Duh.
Yeah, duh. Steampunk. Steampunk was big for a minute, and I feel like it's not now. But it was in 2009, wasn't it? Like when that was. Steampunk era.
It was pretty big, actually. Even like 3-4 years ago, I had a bunch of steampunk decals on the website that we were selling, and they sold out like freaking water.
Yeah,
like people would buy them like left and right,
it.
and then it kind of died off just after that. And not saying it's dead, but it's not nearly as prevalent. Exactly, everything is cyclical, right?
Even like the Sherlock Holmes story, I feel like comes in waves, right? Like
you get a bunch of stuff of Sherlock Holmes.
They're due for a new one because this came out in 2009.
Yeah,
Has there been one since? Oh no, I guess the one with Millie Bobby Brown would have been the new adaptation.
That was a year ago. Then the one before that was a year before that. So yeah, and those did really well.
I'm just really curious about Watson's doctor. What he does, like were they bringing in leeches or like a nail in the ear or how 1800s medicine was,
the type of medicine that they had back then.
And for him to be like, oh, he's dead because he didn't have a pulse, it's like, yeah, that's of course he's dead, that's how you feel it. We find out he wasn't because he's resurrected, but as a doctor in the 1800s, yeah, that's what you really have to go off of. There's not much technology
medicine really wasn't there. I mean, I don't think we had penicillin. I don't think was developed
there yet. So he's a doctor, but like to an extent,
I mean, what flew for a doctor back then, right?
Yeah.
So they went to medical school.
He went to medical school.
They learned about the human anatomy. Yeah.
His doctor wasn't very good, but
No, his doctor was kind of tough.
Sherlock.
Yeah, exactly. He was a terrible doctor.
But
just amputate it. Just kidding.
My absolute favorite part or favorite thing of this entire movie was the dynamic between Watson and Sherlock Holmes, because the love was there.
Oh, they were true through and through homies. They were like brothers from another mother.
They were
right?
in love, and I'm not even saying it in like a
no. They're home. They were buddies. They were the best of friends. You could just
tell how much the separation was already hurting them.
As much as Watson tried to like distance himself from Sherlock,
he couldn't hold back.
He
could not hold back. Yeah. Also, they did this one scene where he's about to leave to go meet her parents, Mary. Again, she gets blown off.
Yeah.
Big surprise.
Sorry, Beth.
Beth
Dutton from
her real name's Beth.
No, her real name's not Beth.
Her real name's Kelly Riley.
Yeah, but she plays Beth Dutton in Yellowstone.
Oh, she does?
Yeah.
That's Beth?
Yeah, that's Beth.
Oh.
That's badass Beth.
What?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. I did not even put two and two together. Yeah. Yeah. Well, anyway, he blows her off. He wouldn't do that now in Yellowstone. Just kidding.
No. Oh no.
It's a different. Yeah. It'd be different.
Trip's not freaking. Or Rip. Is it Rip? It's Rip. Rip's not gonna blow her off. So yeah, exactly.
And so she does get blown off, and then they show the gambling, and they did touch on how Watson was an ex-gambler.
Yes.
And then he does.
So they both had their vices technically.
Yeah. So but he turns around to leave, and then because those people were like throwing dice right in front of him.
Yeah.
And he turns back, and I was like, why it's so dramatic. They zoom in on Jude Law's face, like, and I'm like, what is he gonna do? Is he gonna gamble? Is he gonna leave? Is he gonna stay? And he just ended up with Sherlock. Like, I thought he was gonna like go behind Sherlock's back and like gamble or something. I don't know. But he didn't. He just went in.
He's got more self-control than Sherlock does.
Yeah, he's He does.
He is the anchor.
But I think his vice is Sherlock. Because where did he end up?
His vice is Sherlock.
He ended up with
That's
Sherlock.
That's a great freaking point. His vice is
That's
Sherlock.
where he wants to be.
Maybe it's not even technically Sherlock. Maybe it's the excitement.
The thrill.
The thrill of the
and
the
he's
hunt,
smart because even when he comes up with just as much stuff as Sherlock does.
He did because he used to be smart, like in a lot of the other series, movies and stuff that's been out, but nowhere near as quick-witted as he is in this movie or these movies. Yeah,
like it's different, and it was I got a smart vibe from Sherlock. I almost got like a House vibe, and
what do you mean?
Like House. Have you ever seen House? The doctor guy who would just like
the show, the TV series,
the
House.
TV series
yes,
House.
Because
so I got House vibes, and then I also got like some Jack Sparrow-y vibes.
I got a lot of Jack Sparrow-y vibes, especially like at the very end of the bridge scene when he grabs the freaking the net and swings around and some swashbuckling freaking scene.
And he would
very
there would be some
much so.
times when he's like flailing around Jack Sparrow like
and the quick-wittedness of Jack Sparrow as well. And
they almost like morphed them together.
They did, yeah.
And Pirates was done in 2009, so maybe they thought like we'll kind of lean into this like kind of smart character who knows what he's doing but acts like they don't know what they're doing, and then I just can't pinpoint exactly like what his genius is, I guess, right? Like he's got confidence, he's
confidence and a touch of arrogance.
Super a touch. He's drowning in arrogance.
Yeah, that's true.
And then it's a lot of observation. He's super observational. That's like when he first meets Mary.
That's where the autism comes into place, right? That he can like narrow down and focus on one thing and know exactly what's happening
and
with
why
that thing,
it
right?
happened that way to an extent. Because when he does do it with Mary, he's wrong. And he accuses Mary of leaving her ex-husband.
He went to the utmost darkest aspect of things instead of the most plausible aspect of things.
Yeah, because he doesn't want to lose Watson.
Exactly, but that was kind of a dick move.
They are
honestly.
in love.
That was a douche move.
The whole time, if I was Mary, I would have not been around. Like, I think she
put
really truly loves him.
But I think she realized that she has to put up with him if she wants to keep John,
that's who
right?
he is.
Yeah.
That's who Watson is deep down. He is like, that's that bromance. It's almost like when Corey and Topanga got married and Sean stood up at the altar with them, and you just knew that
that's the dynamic.
Those two people are so in love as friends that like you coming in as the woman it's going to be the third wheel kind of thing.
Absolutely a Boy Meets World freaking scenario. No, you're not wrong. Absolutely.
I don't know why that was the first one that popped in my head.
But it's a very, very, very like similar dynamic. Yeah, absolutely.
Like you can't have a Sherlock without a Watson.
Correct.
You need both.
You can't have a Phineas without a Ferb.
You can't have a Phineas without a Ferb.
Exactly. So no, absolutely.
You need the two together.
Yeah.
And I think they did a great. I think Robert Downey Jr. and Jude Law did a great job of again. You feel the love,
or as we saw earlier, Jake and a Finn, right?
Yep, I was just about to say that. Jake and Finn.
Jake and Finn. You can't have one without the.
There has to be.
They
both.
are the peanut butter to the jelly. So
and you need that dynamic,
exactly.
and then so that means Mary, and then Rachel McAdams' character is Irene. They know what they're getting into, but I don't think Irene's interested. I don't know. That's what I'm saying. Like I love that Rachel McAdams was there, but I couldn't figure out what she was doing there or why. And now I get, because then they leave it at that cliffhanger, like, oh, it's really going to go into the second movie, but now you're saying they don't really cover it in the second movie, so I'm confused.
Well, I mean, they touch on it. They do. I mean, that's the mystery they're trying to solve, but it opens up another mystery.
It turns in. Is this also B plot in the next movie?
Always.
So we just don't know why she's. Like,
I'm not going to ruin it just in case it's something we end up watching, because it is the second one's even more fun. I think.
Is it more fun?
Especially the opening scene. It's a lot of fun. Yeah,
I'm gonna have to buy another movie now.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not worried about it right now because it's not going to come up on the wheel because it's not on the wheel.
But you know what I was thinking with sequel? I think anytime something comes up on the wheel that has a sequel, it has to be replaced with its sequel. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, that's a good idea.
Like you have to put it on.
So we drop that movie from the list. So instead of losing a film, the sequel takes its place.
The sequel takes its place. So
unless it's an absolute tragedy of a film.
No, I think we put it on either way.
Oh no.
I think we go.
That's when stuff starts to mysteriously disappear.
Like I thought there was more on this wheel. I get, because like you said, you mentioned the Mummy. Like then we'd have to also put, if we did the Mummy, then we'd have to put the Mummy Returns. We did Sherlock, so we should put the second one in its
So maybe
spot.
just the second one and not go beyond the second, because some of them have like 3, 4, 5, 6 parts, and I really don't want.
But this isn't Land Before Time. We're not
Okay,
going all the way that far.
We're not doing that.
I'm saying,
but
like,
if we go into a second
reputable
part, I'm okay with that.
Second, yes, or
okay.
or a prequel if it fits to the narrative.
I guess even a 3-part if the trilogy makes sense as a whole.
Only in like Back to the Future sense. Like,
Back to the
all
Future,
three
the
stories
Matrix,
have to,
all those types of
everything
stories.
has to meet together.
Correct. Those ones I'm okay. I think okay. I agree with you.
Yeah, because in that
we'll
way,
vote on it and see if that requires a sequel to be placed.
Yeah, because some of them
without
aren't. Some of them, like when we did Waiting, Still Waiting doesn't count. Like, it's a sequel, but it's not.
But that's
it's
a
not
burn,
the same
that's a
story
money.
universe.
That's a money grab, not a story. Yeah.
With this one, they went in with intent to create a
second one,
a second movie, which means that is full canon, 100%
like
same
a
universe.
Toy Story would deserve a Toy Story 2.
Exactly.
Right?
But we don't need to go to the fourth one.
No,
like,
no.
How many can there be? Like, we can only talk about toys so many times.
Yeah, exactly. No, okay, I agree with that. I
right, so maybe
like that scenario.
We did this one in its place will be the second one, and then if it comes up, then it comes up, because I don't know. I want to know what happens, because they really leave you on a cliffhanger. Sorry to spoil it, but it's on a cliffhanger, so we don't know what happens.
Yeah, and if you're watching these podcasts or listening to these podcasts in any which way, shape, or form, and you don't think you're getting a spoiler, you're in for a surprise.
I know
it's spoilers, duh. This should be our tagline should be spoilers, duh.
Spoilers, duh. Like, well, we can't do that because that's CinemaSin's tagline.
Oh,
so
you're
have
right.
To think of a different one,
yeah.
But yeah, it's spoilers. But I guess it's almost the thing that we assume you've already seen the movie. So
with a name like Random Rewind, you can't expect that we're going to be talking about anything brand spanking new that we're going to ruin for you. So if you haven't seen the movie,
but honestly,
this is true. She makes a good point.
Sometimes, actually not sometimes, all the time, I will watch people's review of a movie before I even see the movie.
Depends on the film.
If I don't want to see it, right? Sometimes I want to know.
Oh, if I don't want to see the film, I will watch it.
Yeah, so you want to or you're curious
100%.
About it, but you don't have time to sit down and watch the whole movie. I will go on YouTube, watch somebody talk about exactly what the movie was, and then I feel fulfilled that I know what the movie is.
Yeah, like the second part of Dune. I've already read the book, so I know what happens, but I don't know how they're going to portray it. Yeah. And they did such a good job with the very first one that I have no doubt in my mind they're going to do a phenomenal job.
I heard it was good.
The second one, Ethan saw it already, so he says it's really good. So I want to watch it, but I haven't seen it yet. But I won't watch anything on it because I know it's going to be good.
Exactly. You know you want to see that movie.
Correct.
Again, I probably won't watch anything about the next Sherlock Holmes because I want to see it as a movie before I get spoiled by
Fair enough.
People like us. Who say everything that happens in it.
Yeah.
With all their black magic.
So at the end of this film, they do come to a consensus of, well, none of it's black magic, right?
It's not.
No.
Okay, but we have to touch on why we think it's black magic.
This whole thing it's very
some weird things happen.
This entire story is very, very, very cult-like, early German behavior.
We love a cult.
Yeah, and this feels like very take over the world, Hitler-esque.
It's the funniest thing is that they wanted Parliament to be part of it, right? Or Parliament's going to be the ones that, and they're like, we're going to rule the world. Like, a bunch of rich white dudes are going to rule the world.
Yeah, let me tell you.
What a surprise!
Let me ruin that for you, homie. It still happened today.
You don't need black magic for that one.
No, a bunch of rich white dudes do rule the world.
It happens either way, so we don't even need the magic part. And guess what? There's not real magic. And so why we think that though is because when what is his name? Blackwood. It's so weird to remember. Blackwood. When Blackwood makes his request to see Holmes before he's resurrected or whatever, there's a guard that starts acting like possessed.
He starts like convulsing.
And they're like,
ground, right?
Blackwood's doing it with his mind because he's such a crazy mind.
What do we find out later?
That he was bribed to do
it.
And he's a great actor.
Paid. Oh yeah,
dude, you're a prison guard. You're gonna take what you can get.
It looks like he should have been like an actor at a playhouse or something because he did such a phenomenal job acting like he was possessed. It wasn't like, I'm die. You know what I mean? It was like very, very.
You know that dude goes to community theater and he wanted the lead role and he didn't get it. And Blackwood gave him an opportunity to really show his stuff and he took it and he got paid. So I don't blame that guy at all.
He's one of those old geezers. Oh yeah, I did some summer stock back in my day.
Exactly. And he wants to be an actor. So, I agree. Kudos to you. You did a great
No,
job.
he did a great job faking it.
So we think, but in our minds, we're like, oh no, he did it. And then,
then
we meet the dad or whatever, and he boils in the bathtub, right? Or is that what they're saying? Like he gets cloaked or something in his tub?
So it ended up being a chemical that reacts with the soap and the copper
of
in
the tub. And it boiled him alive.
Right.
Get the fuck out of the tub.
I don't understand. He sat there and he just took it as if he was slowly dying. I don't know about you. If you ever stuck your hand into something warm or hot, what do?
You take it out.
That's weird.
It's just he's
so
sitting
you
there.
want to be hopping out of that bitch like a hot potato?
But
holy shit, your balls are on fire.
Did he sedate him at some point? He's not, because his eyes are wide open.
I think they did mention something about a slight paralysis where he couldn't move. I think he did touch on that, so he couldn't move
that
fast.
Means he better
quickly.
not have been able to move because you're like, dude, you're boiling right now.
Yeah.
You couldn't yell for help.
He went to go shut off the. I don't know why he went to go shut off the water.
He turned it back on.
But it didn't make a difference.
He heard a noise, turned off the water, and was like, "Turn it on." And how did the candles blow out? Because they never touch on that either.
They don't touch on the candles blowing out numerous times. Actually, it happens a few times. Yeah.
Don't invite him to your birthday party because the candles are out, but we don't know why.
We don't know why. They do not explain that. I know there's obviously something that's mechanical somewhere that's blowing out all the candles. It's dumb, but yes, very much so a secret.
But does he bring it with him? His candle blowing machine?
Just like a lot of magicians have all kinds of random fake tricks to blow things out or like catch things on fire or have.
Honestly, that's what he is. He is a magician.
He is a magician, right? He's really good at what he's really good at what he does.
Also wanted to be an actor or in the entertainment industry.
He would have done really well at the Magic Castle.
He would have been fine. Why didn't you just go with that? Be a magician.
I know, but no, he wants to rule the world.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, he just needed the little mustache, and he would have been freaking gold.
A group of white dudes trying to take over the world.
Exactly.
So he burned his dad in the tub.
Right.
And he does tell Sherlock, he's like, 3 people are gonna die. So we have the first one, who was in the grave, in Blackwood's grave, and that was the red-haired, short, little person. And then we have the dad. Yes. And then we have... So then now we get more of that, like, Harry Potter essence of, like, when Voldemort comes back and everyone's sitting in the room. And, and now we get to hear the plan. And everyone's there, and it's a bunch of white dudes. It's Parliament. It's the British Parliament is who it is. And a guy comes in, and
it's kind of like the Masonic Temple is today.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
So,
and Coward, his name is Coward. His last name's Coward.
Coward, which is like just like Blackwood. It's like very evident. It's almost like all the names from like 007. You know what I mean?
And it does say that Blackwood is a lord. How did he become a lord? Was he
own a property?
That's all you had to do?
You own a property.
So you're lord?
Own land. If you own land, you're a lord. Yeah.
You own land, right? Your house is on land?
Only in England, yeah.
Oh, if you own land in England, you're a lord.
Just like if you own land in Scotland or whatnot.
So it's not hard to become a lord.
Negative.
Would I be a lady?
You'd be lady if you own the land, yeah.
And all you have to do is own land?
Correct.
Weird.
Yeah.
Okay, so
it was not as common as it is.
As it is now.
Now, yeah. It's
back in
only the super wealthy they'd own property, and then like say we'd have a house, it'd be on their property.
On their property, yeah.
And we would pay them the taxes.
The same thing like voting in the early days of America. It's like you can only vote if you're male and own land. It's like, okay, so only the rich people get to choose.
Exactly. No different, yeah.
So Parliament's saying, and now one dude though, he's like, I'm gonna stop this crazy ass dude. Like, I don't agree with what you guys are doing. It's not cool.
Yeah.
And he goes to shoot him.
Yeah.
And this did blow my mind because at first I didn't understand how this would work.
I didn't understand. I figured as much what happened, but I didn't understand why he caught fire. But go ahead.
He combusts. He just starts in flames, and Blackwood makes it look like it's magic.
Yeah.
And it's not.
It's not. It ended up being a fix. Somebody fixed his bullets to be like blanks, essentially.
And he got
create a spark.
On.
And there was rain outside.
When did they set up this system?
I know. It was like.
And it only got on him?
Yeah. So they knew that they knew he was gonna turn.
They knew he was gonna turn.
Or
How
maybe
did
he
they
was just
know?
maybe he was just the only black sheep that they figured was
They
gonna
like
turn
if
on
anyone's gonna turn, it's gonna be this dude.
Right.
They had to just assume that. But what if he just was not having a good day and just sat down and was
then
like,
he would have just been casualty, I guess. It just lit a cigarette. It just caught on fire.
like, we gotta burn you, dude.
Yeah,
like,
sorry,
why? I don't want to
sorry,
get
homie.
burned today. Like, sorry.
Yeah.
I told the guy 3, so you gotta go. He dies, falls out the window. Nobody helps him at all. I thought that too. This is how my brain works. If you were in that parliament meeting and you just saw this guy catch on fire and fall out the window, would you not be constantly thinking about that like the rest of the meeting? Because now they're talking about, we're going to rule the world. But I'd be like, dude,
they
that
were
guy
all
is, like,
scared that they were they all
outside.
thought that they were going to be next, so they better get him.
So out of fear. But wouldn't you be constantly thinking about the dude like who's on fire right now outside? Like, should we help?
That wouldn't not be on my mind.
I would be thinking about that. I'd be like, where did he land? Is he okay? Did the horses take off? What's,
Yeah.
Also, how did he catch him on fire? It would blow. You would be scared. So
Yes.
I get the parliament people being scared. So then this guy pulls his Voldemort stuff, but with not real magic. And he's like, okay, drink your loyalty.
Yeah.
And so they're drinking their loyalty because the next day or whatever it is, at noon, the world's gonna change.
Right. He's gonna magically kill everybody that's not with him, and that's the people that are in Parliament that didn't drink from this chalice,
From the
right?
chalice.
And what we find out is the drink from the chalice is an antidote to this toxin that they're gonna pump into the rooms and kill everybody essentially, except for those that drink.
Again,
from the
a lot
chalice.
of science, and they don't show Blackwood like knowing science.
No,
things.
well, he didn't.
When did they go to school?
He didn't develop it. Who was being killed was all the people that helped him.
That helped him.
So
the
the little man was the one who helped design the system.
Yeah,
right?
because when
so
they broke into his house, they
had to kill the guy. So there it is.
So the casualties are the ones helping. So he's really not doing anything. He's almost like a Edward Norton in Glass Onion.
Yes, exactly.
He's the guy running everything but doesn't know how to do anything.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he now another casualty. So then he's gonna fill the room up in Parliament and everyone's gonna die or whatever. But no way, because Sherlock Holmes is coming, and in between that time though, they have to save Rachel McAdams because she got caught, which is out of character for her again, because he's like, oh, she followed you here and we have her tied up on this like
right. Yeah, that was very Batman-esque.
It was super Batman.
Oh
and then they do
Scooby-Doo shit.
They do my least favorite thing in any movie. It drives me nuts.
What's that?
When it's a chime thing, right? When it's like, as soon as the last 12 noon chimes, that's when it's gonna happen.
It's like, it's so 007.
But then 45 minutes go by.
It's the villain explaining his story to the guy who can shut it down.
Blackwood even says, he goes, at the last stroke of 12 it's gonna go down. But then like literally 30 minutes happen.
Oh, it's the longest
12 chimes.
So Big Ben does chime at the hour, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's not that slow. We've been there. It's not
every movie
close.
they do that. Even Cinderella is like at the by the 12th stroke, and you're like, why did 45 minutes go on in 12 seconds?
I don't know. It's like, it's literally every second and a half, 2 seconds. It dongs, right?
It would have been done. By the time he was
a dong, a second out, and then another. You know what I mean?
By the time he was done with this sentence, it would have been done. That would have been the end.
It would have been.
But no, there's a whole big fight scene on the roof. They do steal
because movie freaking film armor, right?
I know, movie magic.
Plot armor.
They get away from the saw, which was nuts because he would have been done in like 1 second.
Yeah.
They call it
It was a bandsaw.
Bandsaw?
Yeah.
It went straight up and down. I've never seen anything like
that. I've got one in the garage. Not that big, but I've got
pigs in half because
not
they were like
pigs in half. Yeah, I've got a bandsaw, but that means it's intended to cut like tall pieces of wood and whatnot. So
got it.
Mine is only open this big, and the blade is only this big, not this big.
But he like catches his hat.
They were chopping freaking pigs in half, which you don't technically see bandsaws like that, except to split giant lumber.
They were only they needed to use those pigs to test the antidote that they were giving to the people. Like, there's so many steps.
Yeah.
And honestly, something that happened either way, because they were like, we're going to rule the world with fear. It's like, that happens now. So it was a lot of extra. It was
very reminiscent of 2024.
Yeah, it was a lot of extra steps to really not get to anything. Yes, Sherlock did solve the mystery. Kind of, it's funny because they show him in the room with his violin that he never has a bow for. Do you notice that? He's always strumming a violin.
He does find one at one point.
But he never uses it as
he magically has one at one point because he points it at Watson.
That's true, but he's strumming the violin for most parts, and you're okay. And then
it's not a banjo, homie.
But they show him sitting there, celloing this violin with everything written on the wall. It says like Blackwood and this and that. And why did no one tell him about the pictures to string thing, right?
Oh yeah, I don't know.
That's how you solve a mystery.
It was so strange. It was just stuck in his head, just drawing stuff on the ground.
And then he does his whole seance thing he needs to lean into black magic, right?
There was another part that actually got me really, really frustrated. When they find the gas bomb at the end, there was like 6 points of failure on that thing that I saw.
Just knowing how bombs work?
Well, one of them was a thing that struck the top.
Mm-hmm.
And it wouldn't ignite with a piece of paper in between. You know what I mean?
Oh, like mechanically, like
that can't connect.
Are you saying when she made the pipe bomb
before she made the pipe bomb, they looked at this thing and they said, "Oh, it's made so we can't."
It was welded together.
Yeah, well, we can't disarm this thing.
Mm-hmm.
One, the tubes were made out of what?
Glass. That's what I thought.
Smash bash.
That's all I thought.
Spill
I thought
out.
the same thing.
Second
Get a hammer.
One was where the thing ignited. It was a hammer that went pop and it created a charge, that little cylinder
that
from the radio thing. Exactly.
From his button.
So like a piece of wood or a piece of paper or your finger to keep it from igniting. And two, it looked like a receiving unit at the the receiving unit at the very top of those two metal balls that were really close together. I figure maybe if you pull them apart or
anything would have messed it up because it's 1800 and this shouldn't have worked.
And there was a bunch of gears and there was a wrench there and you could jam shit in. There were so many points of failure.
Save lives, because there's a lot of people breathing this smoke or whatever. If I'm trying to save somebody's life, I'm going to smash it.
Yeah.
But they couldn't have smashed it because what's his face crazy dude who we never learn about.
No, you're right.
Steals something from that contraption.
Yes.
So it's really convenient that they don't just decide to destroy the contraption while they're there. Why steal that one pinnacle part? Like, again, it's glass. Break it with a hammer. You just fought off 12 dudes. You can't hit glass together. Like,
right. No.
It was weird how they didn't think that, but that pushed the plot because that guy needed to steal something from that certain machine.
Yeah.
And then in the end, Blackwood gets hung for real.
Yeah, he hangs himself with a chain.
He hangs himself with a chain.
That's unfortunate.
Because there's some reason that was one other thing that bothered me too.
What's that?
Rachel McAdams disarms the bomb.
Yes.
And then she's running or whatever. She's running away and ends up. They're in a parliament building, under a parliament building. But then she ends up on this bridge thing, right?
Like they're not attached. Like there was
not even close.
There was a lot of things logistically that didn't make sense because if you're familiar at all with London parliaments, like one side of town where they were originally was at the south side of town, and there was like, anyway, so it just they do that in films all the time, though, right? They do that in films all the time.
It threw me out of it because I was like, we were just in a parliament building, and because I'm paying so much attention, that this is the thing that gets me because you can't have any thing like that happen in a mystery because we're here to solve a mystery.
Correct.
So we are paying attention to these things because I'm confused.
It's
I'm like,
how did she run out of that building? How did you go
from this pig parliament underneath
to the bridge?
To this random bridge that's being built. And why did you go up? Well, if you were running for your life,
they do that
never go up.
They do that
Never go up because there's only one way down.
That blows me away.
Never go up.
Oh, I know.
Go straight.
Any other way.
Run.
Yeah.
Get out of there, but let's go up here. It's no. In Annie,
but it had to be dramatic, right?
I know it's random, but in Annie, she starts climbing one of those like ladders to nowhere.
Yeah.
It was a fire engine ladder.
That's what it was. Yeah, but you're like,
but there's so many.
You're running away from somebody.
There's so many films that do that, and it's absolutely freaking. It's such a stupid plot point, and
really,
everybody's like, "But why?" And that's a literal question. But why?
Why? Why did you?
Why?
But
why would
if
you
you're
do
under,
that?
why didn't you go street level? If you're such a good. And Rachel McAdams' character is the top tier, whatever she is. Go into the street and blend in, right?
Yeah,
or like anywhere else.
Literally.
Go to let's go to the top. Like,
it was dumb. Anyhow. But
Besides that,
it was fun.
It was a great visually.
Visually
it was great.
It was a great film. For that sense, it was fun to watch. It was a mystery, more action than mystery.
It felt more action to me than mystery.
So out of 5 stars. Again, not a great film, but a good film. In my opinion, at least. I thought so. I don't know what you thought.
I bought it, so I like it.
I bought it, so I like it. That's not necessarily an indication.
I have to, I thought there would have been more mystery-esque things, or things that maybe I wanted to figure out. Like, I wish they kind of didn't say, like, they would show something and then be like, oh, this is how it happened, which is fine, but I also like the opportunity to figure out how it happened.
But I think that's the point. So
I guess that is, like, the whole point, is that you can't, because then that gives Sherlock his whole thing. There's
another film called Usual Suspects, also one of those that, like, blows your mind how the ending goes.
But this one didn't.
That one's really good.
This didn't blow my... I guess I also thought it would be a bigger... mystery than, like, oh, black magic's not real. Like, okay, yeah, we all know that.
I get it.
That's okay. Like, I did figure that out, but loose ends. I thought there would be more of, like, a, I don't know, big dramatic.
So what'd you give it?
I don't know. You go first.
I'm gonna give it it's a good movie. It's not an excellent movie, and I love freaking Guy Ritchie films, so I'm gonna give this a good solid, once again, a 3.5 stars.
3.5. Okay, yeah. I can do that. I think it's 3.5. The action was fun. Again, visuals were great. There's little plot points here and there that don't make sense,
but Robert Downey Jr. does an excellent job.
He does great. Even
Jude
though
Law
he's all over the place.
Yeah, he is really scatterbrains in this. But Jude Law is an excellent actor.
I mean,
the whole cast
is so awesome.
The entire cast is really, really good. Quite honestly, even the sheriffs and whatnot.
You know what?
They're all really good.
I agree with that, because I give all my love to it. Just the sexual tension between Robert Downey Jr. and Jude Law was fantastic. It was great.
Fair enough.
I felt the love.
Fair enough.
I felt the love there between them more than anybody else.
Yeah.
So I like that buddy cop. I guess they're kind of cops, but that buddy cop dynamic was good.
Sure.
And I like that Watson wasn't dumbed down.
Yes.
He was just as equal.
He was just as equally as smart. Yeah.
Which made it easier, because sometimes when there's, like, an oaf and then a smart person, you're like, oh, okay, like, that smart person's smart, and it was nice that they both kind of had parts.
I agree.
So even if Holmes already knew what the answer was, he let Watson answer it. You know.
Right. Des, did you watch this?
Cute.
I did not.
Okay,
no, she didn't want to buy it.
Okay, fair enough.
I didn't.
Fair enough.
I'm sorry.
No, I didn't know if you'd seen it before. I didn't know if you'd seen it before.
This is why I tell Brittney, like, let's get together and watch a movie, because then I feel like it's worth buying it.
Got it.
And then now it's only one person had to buy it.
Yeah, I get it.
We both bought it.
Yeah,
I know. But between you, they just made another $7.
They made $18 because it was $7.99.
Oh, yours was $7.99.
Yeah, I only rented it. I didn't buy it.
Well,
so,
see.
Yeah.
Oh, $3.49 to rent it.
$3.59. Yeah.
$3.59. Oh, you got HD.
Yeah.
To buy it was the same price all around.
They made another another $11.
Yeah, that's all right. It's worth.
I'll give it to him.
I'll give it to him. It's worth watching.
It's worth. And that's the thing too. It wasn't. I don't mind owning it.
Okay,
right?
but
like,
here's another confession, and you guys might obliterate me, and people might obliterate me in the comments. I'm not a huge Robert Downey fan.
Oh, well, let me teach his own.
You know,
is that because do you more go off of the old Robert Downey Jr.?
No,
than,
I
like, Iron Man didn't turn you around.
No, I liked the old Robert Downey Jr.
Oh, you liked him before he cleaned up?
Yes.
I liked him. I liked him after the fact. So
you liked him after Iron Man, right? When his big redemption came in, and
I liked him before too. I thought he was a great actor before he was clean, but after the fact, he was a lot more entertaining, in my opinion, like a lot more coherent.
Yeah, you couldn't. Well, I did. You know what? Honestly, I did have to put subtitles on for this, because in the opening scene when he was explaining his stuff, all I heard was real mumbly. I had to put on subtitles. So for all you old people, this is a subtitle movie, because I was confused.
Fair enough. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this film. Here's our next film. Whoa.
So exciting.
So fantastic. Okay, that's what we're going to be watching next time. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, if you guys can do all the wonderful things like we said before, do the likes, the subscribes, the follow-alongs, and share this with your friends and family, because we need to grow this channel, and we need your help in order to do that. And don't forget to
backhand the notification bell.
And till the next one, see ya.
Bye.
Pikachu. You know Pikachu's real name? Does anybody know Pikachu's real name?
Jean-Luc.
That's right.
Is it really?
It is.
Jean-Luc.
Jean-Luc.
Jean-Luc.